Bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno bueno bum bum bum. Bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno. Rhythm Monk, welcome, welcome. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno bueno bum bum bum. Was totally not monitoring the time on that, so that took me by surprise. Bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum. Oh yeah, dude. Paraplegic, we're gonna hit it again. Easy day. Paraplegic, that was my bad. I wasn't monitoring the time, and so Instagram cut us off in the midst of a conversation, and that was my bad. I was not monitoring the clock like I should have, so I apologize.
Sorry,
Ward
bro.
Bear, welcome, welcome.
I don't know if my ear thing's... Hold on.
Oh, hey, so Paraplegic, I just thought about this. Interesting moral question. So as I was just apologizing to you, I was a little bit cavalier about it.
Why?
Not because I didn't feel guilty, because I did. Because I was like, oh fuck. Like I didn't monitor the time, and because I was an asshole. Fuck. I fucked up, and I accidentally cut off Paraplegic. I legitimately felt bad for that. But in you just been like, oh yeah, you're forgiven. No big deal. Because I assume how amazing Bajo Bear, welcome, welcome. Because I assume how amazing so many of the bears are. And we just had a wonderful conversation, and we've had multiple other wonderful conversations before this. When I apologized to you, I just noticed I was really hard bear welcome. I was really cavalier about offering you my apology.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Basically,
I'm not worried about it.
Alright, Paraplegic, I was subconsciously being a douchebag, and I'm trying to figure that out.
I could care less. I mean, I don't want you to be a
fine.
douchebag.
Fuck you, we'll move on. I'll figure my own shit on my own time.
No, it's fine, you know, I mean... I'm just believe me. Dude, I don't know what I saw, it seemed I mean, I turn off notifications pretty much, because if you didn't, there was dude, I don't know what Redneck Bear was Redneck Bear was doing a freaking video every 5 seconds or something.
Dude, Redneck Bear is Owen's version of my fucking, what's his name? Fuck. The Nazi.
Is that my girl? Is that Coastal? Hey, Coastal,
the caretaker
what's up, girl?
Coastal. Welcome, welcome. Fire Dancer is white.
Haven't caught any kindling yet. Wait a minute, what do you mean Fire Dancer is his wife? What do you mean? Coastal's a dude, a girl.
No. So, you mentioned the one dude that annoyed you, and then I was saying, I was trying to relate it to.
What do you mean Fire Dancer's his wife? Redneck Bear?
No, so Redneck Bear. How you were saying how Redneck Bear has been a nuisance to the community of late.
Well, I don't know about a nuisance. It's funny.
He
just had an issue. He had an issue. He spiraled about some shit he shouldn't have spiraled about. You know, anybody can make a mistake, but
well, yeah,
he was just dude, if I said you're being a douche, and freaking all of a sudden you did 20 videos a day about why Paraplegic called me a douche and how it was wrong, and you're not a douchebag, and
the reason why I bring that up is how Redneck Bear has recently been a big theme, not big theme, but where Owen consistently responds to him. The special boy in me is oh, So I just go onto the live stream and I'd be really annoying in this really specific way, and then Owen will talk to me, and I'll be the special boy, tee-hee.
Oh, it's
And so,
funny.
like I get that vibe. But, like,
Yeah, I
that
don't
being
know.
said,
I
like, that's
heard him
not what I'm
talking
saying.
about how he was I think he was a really good he was one of them kids who like made um money at gaming. I think he was a gamer. So I don't know.
Wait,
I
who's
could see
the
some
gamer?
Redneck Bear. I think.
No shit. Redneck
I
Bear was a
think I heard him
gamer?
talking about like being like a really good. He was into gaming when he was younger. So
Like, professional career status, or just,
I
like,
think so.
standard
I think
square boy?
so. Like I mean, and unless he's full of shit, which I don't get that. I don't get that vibe from where he'd just be like, "Oh, I was really good at gaming." You know, I think he was probably pretty damn good from what he was talking.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you could see like how someone like with that kind of like attitude, like thinks they're, you know, they got to win at everything or something, you know.
Well, so, like, assuming that he, like, Redneck Bear was, like, a world-class gamer, how fucking crazy is that? Like, the interactions that you and I were just describing.
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
only the Bears can have that kind of, like, fuck this guy, he was being a douchebag, but also understand where it's coming from, and, like, not really fuck him, but it's like he was making a wrong point. And then, like, you give me new information, I'm like, that guy's kind of a legend. What the fuck?
Yeah, I just freaking, dude, I briefly remember him talking about that. Maybe I'm talking about somebody completely different. I think I'm right though.
Oh yeah, dude, if that's true, like, good for fucking Redneck Bear. That's awesome. Like, dude,
Dude,
like, there's
like,
literally South Koreans who die playing video games to, like,
right.
be quote unquote successful in this industry. And so if Redneck Bear, just your standard American, was able to fucking do that shit, because, Americans are fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Good
Well,
for
I was
fucking
thinking,
him, dude. That's
like,
epic.
but I don't know, like, if you were in that, you should have, like, I don't know, did you just squander your money away? Did you just make a bunch of, like, really, you know, did you just get a bunch of really new sneakers and shit? You didn't make any real money? I don't know. Because you're
Well,
usually,
dude,
like,
it's
sponsored. You get
fractal.
sponsored. If you're good, you're sponsored. But I don't know, like, he's doing freaking hard work now. I respect him. He's out freaking sanding drywall all day. Man, I did decks for a couple years, you know,
Well, like,
and
it's all
cedar
fucking
siding,
fractal, dude. So, like,
cedar
think about it.
siding, freaking roofs. You know, it's hard work.
Well, yeah, so, like, paraplegic, it's fractal. Think about it. So, like, in his famous stage, yeah, he made a bunch of money, but there's a lot of people in similar situations where, because of whatever social fucking bullshit, they make a lot of money, and then it's a matter of, how do you spend your money? Do you reinvest? Blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And a good metric for that is a lot of famous sports ball players, whether it's NBA, NFL, NHL, blah, blah. Surprisingly, NHL is much less likely. But point being is, all these rich fucking dudes.
Hilarious.
Yeah, right? I accidentally threw a joke in there. But
Dude,
point being,
what's his name? Frickin' MC Hammer, dude. He took care of a bunch of his frickin' neighborhood boys, like, and like squandered his shit. Like he was like, he'd have like frickin' what entourages or whatever the hell you call it.
well, yeah, so paraplegic, did you watch my stream when I recently went to California?
No,
All right,
missed it.
so like 2 weeks ago, I went to California and I partied and drank with, like, one of the most famous Hollywood producers, like, legitimately, like, one of those fucking gravelers, until 6 in the morning, just
Quentin
partying and
Tarantino.
drinking.
Quentin Tarantino.
And
Who
so
was it?
when I was talking to him, bro, one thing that he told me about, like, and like he got real serious about this. was he was saying, like, yeah, people get millions of dollars and they spend those millions helping their friends, doing this, doing that, but they forget about the taxes. And then once the tax season comes around, they get fucked and then they're a slave. And so like even the most like kind-hearted people that get caught up in the system, yeah, the love of money. Like if you've been a poor person your whole life and now you get offered $10 million, it fucks you
I
up
don't know, dude.
psychologically, emotionally. And the last thing you think of, like the best-hearted people are like, oh, I want to use all this money to help everyone that I care about. The last thing you think about is taxes. A good, much minor example of this, but a good example of
I'd
this.
buy land, and then I would start
Well, no,
a couple companies,
paraplegic,
and make
wrong.
sure they're profitable.
Paraplegic, wrong. You are currently providing a logos-based perspective on receiving that level of monetary influence. And because these people that are offered this don't have that base of logos, that's not their answer, which is why I'm correcting you. And the like real world example, the Lord is literally just given me today. So after I went to LA, I came back, I just felt silent for a couple of days, and I just didn't like for the most part. I just didn't speak for like days on end, and so like
Why?
for
Because you had
me,
greasy grabbler freaking residue on you?
I want it, like, dude, like the victim mentality in me wants to be like, oh, I was in LA and the spiritual negative backlash, just like, yeah, of course, like I just needed to like, tune into God and be like, I don't fucking know. I have a bunch of potential hypotheses, but when push comes to shove, I don't fucking know. I know I went to LA. I know it was disturbing. I know I wanted to be silent for the first time in my life for 4 fucking days in a row. Could it be coincidence? I don't know. But
Yeah.
the funny thing about this is after the silence, I just went back to the Trump victory office, blah blah blah, today, and I brought like 300, literally 350 fucking signs that I had just made, and
What? For what?
well, oh dude, like I'm constantly like I've made over 2,000 like Trump 2020 signs, like Japanese slave labor. I'm just a volunteer. I find it fun. Like I just drink
Oh, no,
and
that's cool.
smoke
I
pot.
mean, he might as well get in. I mean, I can't imagine Biden being in. But people do like give Trump too much
All right, so
credit. He's totally freaking Israel's freaking slave. He's a puppet. But
the way that
he's
I
a better
accident
dude than Biden.
all right, bro. So the way that I accidentally got involved in this is I was in a political history class because it was a required thing for my fucking major at the time, and
Holy shit.
turns out there was another Marine, a Marine Corps veteran, who was super fucking liberal, and it just so happened that my teacher happened to be late all the time, and so it was a common thing for all the students to have like political discussions before the class started. And it just so happened that the like one time I spoke up about homosexuals and their statistical um, productivity to also being pedophiles and all sorts of other shit. And like I
Right.
gave all the stats. Like this liberal Marine was like, "Oh, how dare you?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't hate homos. Like most of them are fucking cool, but according to the stats, here's what they themselves have reported in anonymous polls, which means the numbers are much fucking higher." And so that whole argument ended up like extending like 20 minutes into the class, but the teacher found like the way that I was saying things and how like I was trying to be as funny as I possibly could be, but also be as factually based as I could be. He found that hilarious, and so he just let the whole conversation continue. And then he told he turns out he was the sponsor for the Students for Trump Arizona State University chapter. He was like a sponsor for it, and so turns out one of the guys that was sitting next to me was like the founder of like the president of this chapter. And like, after class, after that debate, he was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to join my club?" And like I just thought he was a cool dude. So like not even asking like, "Oh, what's your club?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm down." Just because like, in my mind I'm like, "Yeah, you're a cool dude. If you've got a club, I'm about it. Like fuck it, why not? I'll figure out what's going on. I after the fact. No one cares." And so eventually I found out that oh, it's Students for Trump. And then I accidentally, like in a very similar manner, I accidentally became the third like most important person or whatever the fuck. There's a special title, I forget what it is, but I got some special title for being the third most important person in the Students for Trump chapter of ASU. And then within 6 months of me joining, this Students for Trump ASU chapter literally became the largest Students for Trump chapter in the entire country. And within about a month of that happening, I shit you not, guys, the political establishment, I don't know who the fuck it was, but like some they, I don't know. But after like me and my buddies became famous across the entire country, an East Coast Jew literally traveled across the country to become the official liaison for Students for Trump. Dude, I shit you not. And then just today, I was talking to my buddies, and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, because Students for Trump is becoming like a really big political thing now. We were given an ultimatum: either you agree with XYZ or you're now kicked out. We don't care that you are the president and the vice president of the largest chapter of Students for Trump in America. If you don't get in line, we're kicking you out." And so my two buddies just told me about this today. Fucking fascinating.
Jeez. Got all into political stuff, huh? What?
Well,
wait,
like,
you're currently in a class right now?
No, so like this is what I find funny about this is I'm one of like, according to the lead organizers, I'm the best volunteer in one of the chapters of the Arizona Trump campaign. And I on my door I've got a bunch of lanyards with like, "Oh, volunteer for Trump this, blah blah blah," like tons of accolades, no one gives a fuck. But like everyone, because I'm so knowledgeable about all these things, everyone and I'm a logical individual. Everyone assumes that I'm like the most super Trump voter anywhere. I'm like, "No, dude, he's just a fucking comedian." And like anytime I ever tell that to any conservative, like in the Trump campaign, dude, it blows their fucking mind. Every time it's like, "Oh yeah, he's just a fucking comedian. No one cares." And they're like, "What? He's not your savior? How dare you?" Every fucking time, dude.
Man. If my phone goes dead, dude, now. I've got it plugged into a
If your
battery.
phone goes dead, I'm going to assume that you hate me and you're being racist against Japanese people.
And then you should do freaking like 20 videos tomorrow about it. Spiraling. About how I hate you.
No, not just one. I should do 1,000 videos for the next 1,000 years.
Dude, I don't even know how he works.
Fair, please be fair. How dare you? You're racist against Japanese people.
Every 5 minutes, dude, it was freaking
yes.
like,
every 5 minutes.
I turned off my freaking notifications, man. Like, I don't know if you can turn off notifications from just one person or not. Dude,
Well,
I
so like,
saw H-Bug, this girl. She's like fair. She used to be a bear, sorta. I met her at Ellen's show in Portland. She brought me some milk the other day. She's got, she's got, she's got. There's whatever them little goats are that Ellen's got. The milk is ridiculous, man. Like I like regular, like big, like goat, like regular looking goats. Like they don't have milk that tastes that good. What's that? Not Nubian, but frickin' some N word.
he is Nigerian dwarf goats.
Yeah, Niger goats. So
The nigger dwarf goats.
that's what she has. She had a couple of them, but like, dude, like goats, they have issues, man. Like she was like showing me videos of them like picking on other goats and like
For them, yep.
just like, dude, it's a lot to deal with. I mean, I guess
Well,
you just
yeah,
say F it and let them have their little hierarchy thing or whatever. But I don't
like
know. When
when you
chickens pick on other chickens, like we got rid of the rooster. The rooster was like picking on the hens. We just got rid of them. Like screw it. Like why even have that shit? But then like the girls, they have their own little thing where they like one's the head. You know, there's a pecking order or whatever.
Well, dude,
But
like the question of why do you have a rooster is if you fuck up and you don't have proper like defensive mechanisms, like you don't have proper walls, then some predator is gonna get in your shit, and the rooster will literally give his life to protect the rest of the hens. That's why you have a rooster.
hmm,
Like
I
some of
didn't
them
know that. I didn't
maybe did.
really. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. But luckily, we've never had a hawk. We never had nothing. We had five chickens. Well, actually six, and then we got rid of the rooster. And then we had one like the coop door, like freaking the hatch, like blew shut, and one of them was
Well,
up inside while it was hot, and it died. That was a freaking screwed up. That was a sad day, but that was the only way we lost one. Like something that was well, not really our fault, but I don't know, like Dylan should have like propped open the door with something different so that the wind couldn't catch it. But you got, like you're responsible for him.
yeah, so like I totally get where you're coming from. And that being said, it's like I when I was a little kid, like so 90% of my childhood memories, and by childhood memories I mean but like it's fucking scary weird. 90% of my memories before playing Under Bear, welcome, welcome. 90% of my memories before 18, gone. I don't have them. But one of those few memories that I do have is I remember my mom telling, so more of a me remembering my
Right?
mom telling the story, is when I was a little kid, apparently this fucking rooster attacked me, and my mom
What?
went like ape shit fucking like mama bear and murdered this fucking rooster in real time with a fucking broom. And at the time, we were visiting my aunt and uncle's homestead, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I get it. We've got another rooster. Like that rooster was being a dick." Carol, my mom, I totally get it. You were protecting your little like tiny son. And so it's like, all right, yes, when you have multiple roosters, you have an increased potential for them being douchebags. But that being
Yeah.
said, is like the passive bonus to that is when you're asleep, when you're not actively protecting your chickens, your
Yeah.
hens, the
Yeah. I didn't
roosters
really
will
think of
literally
that.
give their lives to be a douchebag and like die
Yeah.
to defend the rest of the hen.
I have a feeling the fact that we got four cats, it's just like I think birds, like birds of prey. I don't know. I think they just sort of stay
Ooh,
away, maybe.
that is a good concept to consider. Is what is the effect of cats on the
Yeah.
general? Because you're right.
Like the fact that we've never lost a chicken to a hawk or a coyote or anything like that, and there's shitloads of coyotes in our area. You hear them howling all the time, and there's quite a few hawks. I don't
And you're
know.
saying that you have a lot of cats?
We got 4 cats. We had 5, including
Ooh.
Angel, but Angel got killed. I just told you about her.
I wonder if
Pumpkin
that's a
Pie.
fact.
We got Sassy Cat. We got Daisy May May and Tom Tom. Tom Tom was the last one to show up. He just walked on our property and we took him. Like, he's a badass cat.
All right, so
They
you
freaking kill
got
moles. They kill moles all the time. Moles, voles, shrews, mice. They kill them all. Birds. Pumpkin Pie, she's freaking like, she's a ninja though. She brought a hummingbird in alive.
no
Like, she's
fucking
fast
way.
enough to catch a freaking hummingbird, dude. Brought it in. Cat thought that she had killed it because she said the heart was beating
Holy
real fast.
shit.
I'm like, honey, they like beat like, I don't know, like 200 beats per minute or something ridiculous. Like
One
hummingbirds
of
are
your
like,
cats got a live hummingbird. That's legit as fuck.
dude,
But the
Pumpkin,
reason
she will
why
freaking jump. She will jump from a fence post up to the roof. Like she's the one who fetches, right? So she didn't hurt it. Cat thought that she killed it. So Cat took it outside and said a prayer and freaking put it in the greenhouse and then came back like 15 minutes later and it was gone. Like it had flown away, dude. Unless another predator just happened to go in the greenhouse and steal the hummingbird, which I highly doubt.
so would you say as you've gotten more cats on your property, you have noticed a like decrease in other in pests?
Yeah, dude, like, I mean, we still had we had a big old mouse thing in the back of the garage. You just can't, like, mice are just, they're always going to be places, you know. But I think they definitely
Well,
keep the mole number down. They kill
but
moles
the
and they
mice
kill
still a problem?
voles. No, no. I mean, we like took, we fixed this back of the garage. It had a rotten panel. When we pulled up the panel, you could see inside the walls, and you know there was a mouse nest in there. I don't know if it was might have even been old, but you know, mice. You know, if you have even a little, like we don't have a farm. We live on an acre here, but you know, it's big enough to where you know it's gonna be. Dude, you ain't stopping mice. You're just not. I mean, you can keep them down, but there's always going to be mice. I don't care if you got 20 cats.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, if you like, you got walls. If you got walls for them to get into, I mean, you're not stopping mice. They're just
Well, I mean,
pests,
like I
you know.
always assumed is if you built your like your protection measures for your grain and like blah 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 like strong enough, and then you also had cats and dogs and like multiple layers of defense against like elements of nature. I would assume eventually there would be a point where like you would protect yourself against these things. Are you saying
Yeah,
that's not a
dude.
thing?
Like, dude, tell India about that, dude. I watched a show on rats. The show where it showed rats from all different points. It showed the rat temple where people worship rats and they put out milk for the rats. And if the rats
Yep,
jump on you, it's considered
I've seen
like
that
good
in
luck.
India.
All right, so then they showed the huge, big ass like rats that are freaking like long, almost like probably about 4 pound rats that were in the
In
cities.
New York and like New Jersey and shit.
Yeah, these are bigger in India. These ones that I saw on this show. These guys have freaking slingshots and slings, and they go out and they get a bounty on these freaking rats um, in this one area. So that's how they make some money. And they went and showed out in the country this one family. They would put these smoking clay pots into the rat holes, and they would blow the smoke in there, and then they would sort of the kids would run in there and stick their hand in the hole and pull out these big ass rats. So they get like freaking like 30 or 40 of these damn things out in the country by the like I guess it was by rice fields or something. So they would take the plumpest ones and eat them, and they'd sell all the little ones to an alligator or a crocodile farm. So they made money just on rats. This one family.
Oh yeah, so like, I just did a quick Google search. Turns out what you're speaking of is already like a geopolitical term called the Cobra effect.
What's that?
It's basically when you try and kill all the rats, they become more numerous.
Dude, freaking the other part of this documentary I watched showed a granary where they literally had one area that they put out like cheaper, shittier grain and just made that where the rats could get it easy. So for the higher quality stuff, they sort of had more locked up and guarded. So they couldn't stop them. So they would make some easily, like they just like, I don't know, like there's like some percentage that are just like, all right, this much is getting lost, like when you're talking about the farm, you think you can protect everything. Now you could to an extent if you had, really, like, I don't think rats are gonna gnaw through 5-gallon buckets. But if they do, then you can just get metal. You can get metal, metal things.
That being said, have you seen the Australian mice epidemics?
Oh my gosh, the waterfalls of mice, that is insane, dude.
Dude.
When you watch those, it's insane. Dude, that is some biblical shit.
Yeah. Like,
dude, I never seen anything like it. Were they mice or was it rats? I guess it was big mice. I think I watched.
They were mice. But that being said,
it looked like a waterfall, literally a waterfall of mice.
Yeah, paraplegic. That being said, is 5 minutes ago, I was like, oh yeah, if you take the proper measures, you can defend yourself wholeheartedly. How the fuck do you say, like, good point. How the fuck do you defend yourself against the Australian mice epidemic? Dude, it's a flood of fucking nonsense.
Yeah, Australia's nuts. Like, I like watching the opal mines. I think opal, like in like I don't know if you know it, what Cooper Pedy like mine, like black opal, the real pretty it's called
it's the largest mine in the world, isn't it?
Cooper Pedy. It's just like, dude, it's the most beautiful opal on the planet. Like way better than like the African crap. Like it's got really beautiful blues and reds and yellows, but it's insane when you see these guys just like busting up rocks all day long, or if they're like down in a mine and they hit a pocket and they get a real big piece. It's just insane looking. It's insane how beautiful that stuff is. Way prettier than diamonds, like diamonds there's so many freaking diamonds. Diamonds are alright. I wear these like little, but I wouldn't buy a diamond ever again,
Are you speaking of fire opals?
Yeah, well, no, fire opals are red. They look really, really green. More black. There some of them are called Cooper Pedy opals, but they're black and they're in mined. I don't know the definite term for them, but there's a couple different mines. But Cooper Pedy is the most famous one, and black opal is the most expensive. That's where you have. It looks like it has like a black background, and then it has, really. If you got, I think red is the most like reds, but if you have all the color spectrum, it's worth the most. I'm not sure if blues and greens are worth, but I think red is worth more for some reason because red isn't as abundant in it. But fire opal it's worth money, but not as much as that Cooper Pedy stuff, the stuff with all the colors. Like fire opal it basically really good fire opal. It can be anywhere from completely bleached out if the sun's gotten to it and worthless to where it's like white to a yellow that's still worth money, but then as it gets redder, then it progressively gets more expensive. But fire opal is just, a yellow to red. And the brightest red, being like a blood red almost.
Mm.
But there are some cool shit. There's something called anthill garnet. I think that shit's cool. These ants, the ants build their little nests and they pull up these pieces of garnet they call anthill garnet. And it's really pretty. It's almost as pretty as a ruby. A little bit darker, more like maroon. But
Interesting.
the fact that the ants are moving it means that you don't get really big pieces of it. So, when you see like a 6 carat anthill garnet, it's like, holy crap, like how'd you find that? Usually like a half carat. 1 carat's really big because the ants are moving this shit. Unless you, I don't know, find an ant hill that has it on it, and then you dig down and find the area that they have, moved this stuff from and find a big piece of it. I guess I don't know.
Well, it's like unless you're specifically building like a little centralized like anthill and like giving the anthill like the specific needs they need to make the anthill garnet, you're not gonna get something like more larger than a carat because it's like that rare.
Yes, yeah, it's worth a lot of money. Like,
Interesting.
not as much as diamonds, but it's up there in the prices of like, like an emerald or ruby. Like certain stones are just like tanzanite, man, that's just pretty crazy. That stuff's insane. Like that's a really neat it's brown when they find it, and when you heat it, it turns the most beautiful blue. So odd. It all has to do is heat it, and it turns just like amazing blue, and that's in one spot, Tanzania. And when they first found it, it was just like everywhere, and they slowly like mined down, and like it's almost completely mined out. They say that shit'll be gone, and it's weird how certain things. Emeralds are worth a lot of money, but most of the emeralds look like shit. If you ever looked at emeralds, they look like crap.
No, I've never been a big like gemstone dude.
Yeah, they're really dirty and there's something called chromium dioxide that comes from Russia. It's like a really vivid green stone. They mine it like 3 months out of the year when it's freaking like warm enough to get in these mines in Russia, and that shit looks way prettier than any emerald, and it's way more scarce because it's only in one spot. Like there's a bunch of places emerald comes from. It's only one place this chromium dioxide comes from. But I don't know. That's just I used to be into like stones and stuff, but I don't know.
All right, brother. I'm gonna head on out for the evening.
All right, bro. Cool.
Farewell, everyone.
Have a good night, bro. All right. Cool.
Later, bruh.